And it's just like awkward sit as the video begins.
I mean, bleeding now.
It's fine, I'll cut that bit. It's alright. Or I'll quack you again. Did you see that I put a quack? Yeah.
Also, why do you just go like that to my face?
Quack. I was trying to be a dart.
What dot goes there?
I don't know, okay? I'm tired.
Yeah. Crusty salad.
Yay.
Yippee.
Hello everyone. It's been quite a while since we filmed, so we wanted to do just our own little video of catching you
back
up.
up. We've been very busy in terms of actually doing the rigmarole of things.
Rigmarole?
Rigmarole. I can't say that word.
Rigmarole.
Rigmarole.
Is that not it?
No, it's rigmarole.
I didn't even know that was a word.
Yeah, it means like stuff, doing stuff.
I'm gonna Google that and put that on the screen in case that's actually, maybe you're making it up.
Oh, I would do it now, but we got stuff to do.
Yeah.
We got. Right. So
last time we spoke, we had started mapping out our scenes, and we'd done scene 1 and scene 2, but we hadn't finished scene 3. So we were like, we gotta get stuff done.
Gotta get stuff done.
And we don't have much time before we need to like write everything. So we called the night after, the night of. We called after in the evening.
We called that day in the bathroom. Welcome to the Miskin Theatre. Welcome to any theatre. If you go to a theatre and you don't have people going, oh.
And just like singing, it's constant singing. Now Sweeney has been cast, it's just constant singing.
Back to the topic. Yeah, so we called in the afternoon of that evening so that we could get this done, because I mean I ideally wanted to get it cast and started filming this week, but then realised it's not possible.
No, yeah.
But preferably we kind of got to start filming next week.
Yeah, and we're working on casting, or at least like start rehearsals next week, and then like get a filming schedule in place. You know, like we need to bump up the pace a little bit. We have a month now before we want to get it done, so we do have a little while. It's just making sure that we're basically utilizing all of the time that we have and trying to condense it as much as possible, so that if things go wrong, we can always go back.
But really, I mean, we don't even have a month, because we have 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, so we have 8 days. In total, we have 8 days.
Yeah. Anyway,
but we'll be fine.
We'll be okay.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
So, we're looking at...
Right.
So, we called and we literally went through them all. We're going to do a separate video explaining how we used the story circle to create this, because especially we mentioned this in the last video, video before. We mentioned this in one of the videos, that we knew where we wanted to start it and we knew how we wanted to end it, but the middle as well was very kerfuffly and unorganized, and we were just like, we don't know what to do or what we want. So we used the story circle to organize that, and also to help us write out what we wanted to happen in each scene, which actually got it done really quickly. Like, well, we were on call for a long time, but it was really quick.
About 2 hours.
Considering, yeah, I think it was about 2 hours. So we mapped out scene 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then what we did was we allocated
scenes,
all of the scenes, so that they could be written over the weekend for our first draft.
We thought a lot of the scenes were very delicate, and so what we had decided to do is give like the biggest and most delicate scene to one of us, and then give 2 of the smaller scenes, because we didn't want to load everything onto one person. So I done 1, 2, and 6, and Sydney had done 3, 4, 5, and 7, and it was scene 6, which is probably the hardest hitting scene.
Yeah, scene 6 was very, like, I obviously didn't write it, but it is a very difficult scene to write. Like,
in and of itself, it's so delicate that writing it needed a day to itself. Well, not a day, but I needed a fair few hours, because
it needed its time.
getting it done correctly is very different to getting 1 and 2 done.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, same goes for 3, 4, and 5. I mean, I would say for me, they would have been harder than writing 6, because at least scene 6, you kind of know what you're doing. 3, 4, and 5, that's the realization and the filler of everything, which, to make that actually interesting and to make that work is really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, then you get a boring story.
I mean, I definitely think it's like 3, 4, and 5. Let me just like break down kind of roughly, and then we'll go into more depth in a separate video about what happens in each of the scenes. But for scene 3 is really a lot about her in the bathroom trying to figure out, like, her calming herself down and like logically thinking about what it is that she wants to do and like what her approach is to her situation. It's very much like her getting accustomed to what's going on. So it was okay, but I did have a little bit of fun with it in like the having someone come in on her while she's like hitting stuff and being loud, and then her like messing with them and like poking them and stuff.
Silly goofy moment.
So that wasn't too bad to write. And then for 4 was difficult because of the amount of different sections that we wanted to include in it. We wanted to have like a bit of a montage of Ren going around a bunch of different groups of people who are all like spilling gossip, and I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know any gossip to write about. Like, how do I come up with fake gossip?
I think if it was a feature length, that would be easier to do.
It would be easier. Plus, as well, filming wise, we ended up deciding to change it around a lot because of how difficult it would be to film. And then for scene 5, it was a lot of like dialogue between characters who had a history and trying to show that in a short amount of time. So I think out of all of the scenes that I wrote, scene 5 was probably the most difficult for me to write, just because getting the dialogue to flow in a natural way is something that's like, it's a very scary thing to like undertake, and to kind of like we said earlier, like we spoke earlier about like wanting our dialogue to sound unique. Like, each of the characters were unique to each other, and they can speak similarly, but they're separate people, and kind of making sure that everyone's speaking slightly differently because they're slightly different.
I mean, you can have same accents, but everyone says things differently, because you might say it's something as simple as one might say thanks, one will say thank you.
Yeah. And getting in those different like personality differences as well. Like, Ren is a lot more reserved and like pessimistic, whereas her best friend Dylan is a lot more like, hello, I'm here, and like a bit more
floaty.
she's a lot more floaty and like bouncy, and just she's got a lot of energy, and she's a lot
imaginary world
happier. So I feel like with that, like making sure that those differences are clear with little amount of dialogue, like we only have a few pages to be able to show that. And I think that like scene 5 was probably the most difficult for me to write. And then I also did scene 7, and scene 7 was really short, so it was okay. But what do you think about the writing aspect? How was that for you?
I thought writing really impactful scenes is something I'm good at. I'm good at writing impactful stuff. What I'm not good at is writing dialogue. I hate using this word because it makes it sound like it's unimportant, but it's not. Filler dialogue, story dialogue, things like just little conversations. That for me is the hardest part, because making something impactful is relatively easy because there's so many aspects to it. But making a scene where 2 people are sitting down just having a cup of tea, is that it?
Yeah, making that interesting, it can be more difficult than if, say, you have a scene where like 3 people are fighting for their life. It's a bit more it depends on where the action is focused that can help kind of aid you when you're writing.
And so I suppose, but I thought it was fun, actually. You know, I got confused with the format. But I thought overall, the writing, although 1 and 2 being Act 1 and 2, being really difficult in terms of just trying to find a good start and a good lead up to scene 3, because again, scene 3 is when the pace starts to pick up. Building a lead up to that, it was like, God, what am I meant to do? But I thought this has definitely been a massive learning curve, mainly for, take story-wise out, writing personality into characters has been such a massive learning curve, because, I mean, hell, Act 1 is 1 page that took me an hour and a half to write, just because it's like, Ren wouldn't say, me, great. No. You know, I would say that, and that's why I'm writing it down. No, she would say things more reserved.
She's quieter,
she's quieter. She's, you know, and writing for that is just, you know. But it's definitely taught me how to write personality into characters and then bounce them off other characters.
Yeah, I think that was because scene 5 is so, there's not a lot of action, but I think as well, like, as a writer, you know where you want this scene to go, but the characters don't know that. And I think that's one thing that's actually really hard when writing a script, is knowing where you want your characters to go and like getting them there are 2 completely different things. And I remember, like, when I was writing scene 5, like I wrote scene 3 and I wrote scene 4, and that was great. Like, I did that, and it was difficult, obviously, but it was, then I got to scene 5, and then I was like, okay, I need some time to like think about how I'm going to approach this and stuff, because it's a very kind of revealing scene from both characters and stuff. And as well, making sure that Ren, our main character, isn't the only one who's getting a dynamicness to them, if that makes sense. Like, kind of seeing how would Dylan react in this situation, and how would Ren react, and how do I get their reactions to lead to this point and this happening, and then how will they react after that, and how will that create an argument between them. Like, coming up with how to get them angry at each other, because I knew that at first they were cool, they were chill, then Ren tries to kiss Dylan, and then they have an argument. I'm like, wow, that's
scene build up.
That's massive. Like, that's a massive kind of thing that you need to wrap your head around whilst you're doing it. And I think I learned a lot about that, definitely.
I mean, I think something which is difficult to distinguish in that is, how would you get mad versus how the character gets mad, and then trying to take yourself away from that character. It's almost like writing an unbiased news report. It must be so difficult, because everyone has opinions, everyone has their own way of doing things, and you can imitate and you can mimic, but making it human is difficult.
Yeah, making characters their own people is really, like, when we made our character profile of Ren, that you saw before, like, it was so easy to sit there and say, this is how we want her to be, this is the kind of person she is, and then putting her in these situations, it becomes difficult to show that through the situations she's put in, if that makes sense. And like, working out how to mesh them together was definitely something that we learned a lot about during the writing. But yeah.
But yeah.
So we wrote our first draft.
We wrote our first draft
over the weekend, and then on Monday we came in. Yeah.
We came in.
Oh, did we? Wow, crazy. We came in and we were working with Paul on the first year show reels, first year camera show reels. So they were doing filming for Erin's show reel, and
which really showed how slow things can take. I don't know why I looked at you, but it was just like it took an hour and 20 just for setup, and it was like, God damn, you just want to do something, and it's like, just take it forever.
Yeah, it definitely, especially because we also filmed on Tuesday, like seeing that whole setup process and stuff, it definitely put things into perspective of like, oh, this is hard. This isn't something that, obviously we knew that it was going to be hard going into it, but this is, wow, okay, we haven't done something like this before. And it made me like, oh no, like I can't do this for a minute. But we got to a certain point where it was like, well, this is difficult. I think we're both like, at the moment, this is difficult and this is hard, and organising this alongside doing the show reels and stuff is really hard. But I think at the end of the day, it is what it is, and
there's going to be a lot learned from it.
We're going to learn so much.
Honestly don't think there's going to be a situation that ever comes up that we're ever going to be this stressed. Ever. I mean, this is beyond anything.
Yeah.
And I think after this is done, it really goes to show that, like, this is going to sound so cringy and cliche, that anything is possible, because you'll be going through the most, I just went so off topic. You know, we'll get, my brain isn't braining today.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, if we can do this, we can take drama school on. If we can get this done, like with all of the coursework, all of the other stuff that we need to do on top of it, if we can do this, then who's to say we can't keep going and keep doing this? And next time it'll be easier, and we'll learn different things. And yeah,
different lessons to be learned in everything that you do.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then on Monday we printed off the script, our first draft.
In the afternoon, after doing errands.
Yes, so we printed that off, and then we did a read through with the level 2s.
That went interesting. I think it's very intriguing and interesting. I'm trying to.
It's intriguing. It's interesting. It's intriguing. It's interesting. It went interestingly.
Basically, it showed us a lot of issues with the script. First and foremost, let's get that out of the way. First and foremost, it showed us what we done wrong with the script, where we went wrong, and then we changed that night. Tuesday, but we changed it that night. We called. And we got all of that sorted, but what I don't think it done is it didn't show us what dialogue really works and what doesn't, purely because it was the skill level wasn't up to where it needs to be, because the script, it felt very robotically said. I'm not trying to sound, I'm not slamming on
it was a cold read. They didn't get any, they didn't get much beforehand of like what was going on and stuff. So it's not necessarily their fault that it didn't go amazingly well. But I think it also opened our eyes to like what actors that we could actually use in it, and what was, one, realistic, and two, like, ideal for us, because we were told quite early on that we could use the level 2 actors for it completely. But since looking at that read through, their company, there's no one in that company that will be able to fit the role of one Ren, but also some of the other characters in it, in the time frame that we need them to, and get it to the standard that we want it at.
I mean, to put it bluntly, in a non-rude way, they're not up to scratch. Not their fault. I mean, hell, they've just come out of secondary school.
And it's a difficult script. I think that we definitely gave them a challenge, and I think they
gave it a go.
They did give it a go, and lots of them who really wanted to try and wanted to be involved. It was amazing and it was lovely. It was just the actors who were in the room and who were able to read it, they weren't fit for the roles. So even though there was like some people who were like, yeah, like we're learning and we're doing amazing actors, they don't fit our vision of the script and where it's going. So we went after that, we spoke about it Monday night and just completely went through, and like I annotated it and you annotated it as well, and we just completely like reevaluated everything that we thought was going to be different, that we thought would work better differently. I mean,
should have got this out before the video.
Yeah.
Apologies. I think this is the one. I think this is the right one.
There were lots of things that we changed. And then on Tuesday, after we did Ade's filming for his show reel, after that, we updated the script and printed it all out. We hoped that we were going to do a read-through with the first years and see, how our new and
improved.
How our second draft would go down. But we didn't have time, unfortunately, so what we did do though was we asked them about if they could audition and send us in a self-tape. So we sent them a copy of our second draft and then asked them to send us in like a little section, a little extract of their choosing, so that we could get an idea of who we could use and who would fit, and also how it works with them. So yeah, I think that's everything.
Then we done. Yeah, banging.
Cool. This is gonna be one just like massive.
Long.
Well, it's 23 minutes at the moment.
It was a catch-up session.
Yeah.
A catch-up. Kind of everything we missed and done. We've just been very, 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 very busy. A lot of stress, a lot of worrying, but it's good.
Just doing stuff.
Just doing stuff. Yeah. I hope you sat through this and enjoyed what waffle we were on about. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll say goodbye.
Bye.
Give us a like.
And
please.
subscribe.
Give us a like.
Press the notification bell.
Comment.
Please.
Subscribe.
We want attraction. Not like. No.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Attraction, as in like coming to the.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I'd actually hate my work partner. I can't wait until we leave. Like, Krusty Salad Productions is over.
Yeah.
Sorry, I looked you up and down and I felt so bad.
It was really rude. Okay.
I love you really.
Anyways.
Anyways.
So we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.